Hi there, it's Mel from Inspired Crafts. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy this this video. The suite that I'm going to use today is the Fresh as a Daisy new suite from the 23-24 annual catalogue. I really like this suite and I like the colours that are in the DSP, though there are some that are quite challenging because they're so much darker. So I thought I'd have a play with some of the darker colours and show you know, how you can use the especially the more busy backgrounds in making a nice card. Okay, so the card type I'm going to make today is a WV card. As you can see, it's got a W and a V. And this one I've used the darker copper clay DSP, so it was like this, and I've teamed it with the Pretty Peacock colours. And then we've got the dies and one of the stamps, and this is just a stamp out of a different stamp set. Okay, so I don't know if you can see on here, these dies, you can do a 3-layer effect, which makes it really pretty, and you can add colour to them. The paper I've chosen to use today as the background is this one. So I'm using garden green cardstock and the Pebbled Path DSP for that bit, which is on one of the other patterned papers in this set. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that one out of the way a moment, and hopefully I've written down all of the instructions as we need them. So this is a large card base, larger than normal, but you will get this out of a sheet of A4. Okay, so it measures at 11.5 inches or 29.2 centimetres by 5 3/4 inches, 14.6 centimetres. Okay, so you'll see I've already scored this, but I will give you the scoring measurements. They are scored at 1 7/8 of an inch, which is 4.8 centimetres, 3 3/4 of an inch, or 9.5 centimetres, 5 5/8 of an inch, or 14.3 centimetres, and 7.5 inch, or 19 centimetres. Okay, so shortly after this video goes live, there will be all of the measurements written up on my blog, but you should also be able to find all of the measurements in the information on my YouTube channel. Okay, so that's the card base. We've got quite a few bits and pieces here. So then you also need a piece of cardstock that measures 6 inches, which is 15.3 centimetres by 3 inches, or 7.6 centimetres, and that's scored in the middle at 3 inches, or 7.6 centimetres. Okay, then we've got another 3-inch squared or 7.6 centimetre square piece of cardstock. The white layer for the sentiment and your writing to go on is 2 3/4 inch squared, which is 7 centimetres squared. Then there's 2 pieces of DSP, which again are 2 3/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches, or 7 centimetres by 7 centimetres. The largest piece of DSP, which is 3 3/4 inch or 9.5 centimetres by 5.5 inches or 14 centimetres. And then we have 4 of this piece, and I've cut them, they all follow, so I've cut them and kept them in order, as you'll see, so they all follow along when you stick them on the card base. So you need 4 of these at 1 5/8 or 4.1 centimetres by 5.5 inches, which is 14 centimetres. Okay, so I'm just going to, first of all, before I do anything else, we're going to stick these pieces on while the card base is flat. So I'm just going to get my trusty Tombow and take each panel and just put a thin line just inside, because you don't want the glue squidging out everywhere. And it's been measured so that it will have about 1/8 of an inch round all of the edges. And it's quite easy just to line them up, and with the Tombow you get a bit of wriggle room. It doesn't dry, you don't stick it down and it's stuck straight away. Which of course, if you used the seal, then it would be stuck and probably end up ripping the cardstock if you needed to take it off to move it. And then the last bigger piece there. Okay, so that's that piece. Then these 2 here are going to go on this. So just going to stick these down. Okay, so that's that bit. So I think what we'll do now is just pop that out the way a minute, and I'm just going to do a bit of stamping. So this is the the sentiment die out of the Cheerful Daisies, and it's got a really nice stitched edge around it, just for a bit of detail, if you can see that. Okay, and my just my normal square. So the sentiment to go on the front, I'm going to use my garden green, and I'm using the sentiment from the Cheerful Daisies set, which is wishing you the brightest birthday. So just a few gentle taps, and then I'm going to, it does fit, so I've already cut it, but you know, it would be better really if you die cut it after stamping. But there you go, look, it does fit perfectly on there. And then I've chosen Pebbled Path in order to tie that background in, and this sentiment here, just to go inside, is from the Irresistible blooms. So it just says, hooray, it's your day. So I've not used this Pebbled Path yet, so hopefully it'll, might actually just try it up there. That should be fine. So I'm just going to stamp that in the middle, roughly. Okay, so I can put the Pebbled Path away because I don't want that one now. And I'm just going to pop those over to one side. Now I've got lots of die cut pieces here from the Fresh as a Daisy suite. And on my original card you can see that I've added some yellow. It's actually lemon lolly, and I've also added some of the pretty peacock to the leaves, so I'll just do that bit now. So I've got some scissors somewhere, my paper snips. These are really, really good little paper snips for if you fussy cutting or any of your paper crafts. They're brilliant. I'm just going to cut the leaves off because I didn't actually want them in the same place as they are. And the first bit I'll do is the leaves. So I did use a blender brush on the last ones, but I'm going to use a sponge dauber this time. And I'm just adding a bit of the green ink. It doesn't have to be totally covered. Okay, so I've just added that on just to make it look like it's got a bit of texture to it. So now I can pop the green ink away. And this is Lemon Lolly. It's a lovely, lovely bright pink. And what I did to start with is I just took a very small blender brush and added just some yellow to the centre pieces of the bigger die. And then I also added some just on the middles of these background die cut pieces. It doesn't matter how dark or light you do it. And then I did actually just add a little bit. I've got a bit more than what I wanted, but it'll be fine. Just into those centre pieces. Okay, so that's all of the ink used. So I'm going to put the ink out of the way so that we don't get messy. And now I can show you how we layer these up. So I want one of each of those for this inside. So this one's just a 2 layer, so I'll pop that out the way for a moment. This one here, so we need this 3 flower die, and then on the back of here we're going to add the background ones. Okay, so they're really easy to line up, and all I'm going to do is put a little bit of glue. I'm not going to stick it all the way down, I'm just going to put some little dabs of glue around the edge, around that sort of the centre of the edge of the centerpiece, and then you'll see they will line up. Really straightforward. Okay, so you've still got the freedom there. It's not all stuck down, so it still gives it a bit of dimension. Okay, so the same for these other 2 little ones. I'm just going to pop some bits of glue, just enough that it will hold these in place. So there's that one. And then this little one. And so with the Tombow, you can just move it around. Oops, move that one a bit too far. Okay, so that's one's not going to stick for some reason. Let's just put it back. Okay, so that's the first 2 layers, and then these ones, I don't know if you can see, they're actually slightly embossed as well, which adds obviously to the dimension and the texture of them. So again, I'm just going to add some little dots of glue, and then line that up. Just stick it down for a minute, and do that with all of these. I think these daisies are absolutely lovely. The detail that's gone into designing them, and the gorgeous papers, it really is just so cheerful, and you know, I'm always sort of really surprised at just how real and how much detail goes into making these dies and stamps for us. So while I'm here, I'll just stick this one on as well. There are stamps that you can use on this to make it look like, you know, little holes, little bits, but I'm just doing these because I will stick some I will be sticking some of the gems in there shortly too. Okay, so now the leaves I've literally just sort of taken off of up here, and I've glued it just behind, somewhere sort of like that, because it's probably easier once you've got this to actually just to move it around a little bit, see where you want to put it, because you're going to have your sentiment as well going on, and it doesn't matter if it overlaps the square. So I think I'm going to put those about there, and because of all the dimension on the actual daisies themselves, I'm not putting them on with dimensionals. I'm going to glue them flat, and the sentiment will be put on. The sentiment will be put on with dimensionals. So I'll just pop that one. And I've also got this green die here that I've cut, which has just added a bit of extra behind this one. So just pop a little bit of glue on. Again, I'm not sticking it completely down, so I want it to have a bit of sort of life, bit of texture and 3D, so it pops off the page a bit. Okay, so I'm going to just come back to my sentiment now, and as you can see, I've actually got in this case a pretty peacock border of the sentiment, so that was really straightforward. And literally I cut a green die out, and I took a pair of scissors and cut it in half. You may have seen me do this with different punches we've had and stuff as well, and then it's just a case of putting some glue and lining it up and deciding how much of a border you want. And then doing it on the other end as well. So it's like that. Okay, so as I say, I was going to stick these on with dimensionals. So I shall do that now. Okay, this one can now go on to here. Okay, so we've got those bits now done, and so I can bring the card base back in, and what I'm going to do now is just burnish the folds of the score lines, just so that it stands up. Okay, so that's the way you want to fold it, like so. Okay, so this one is really quite simple to put on. You're just literally going to be attaching it with a bit of glue. Now, I do this by sight, but you know, you can measure it if you want, just so that it's roughly about halfway. And I pop some glue on there and then fold it back down. Okay, and then again on this side, just pop some glue on there and fold it down. Okay, so there's your W and your V. Now this layer here, this is slightly trickier because you need to be able to get it as close to so that it covers. So you don't want to be, once you've got the glue on, you don't want to be sort of sliding it all over the place really. So it's just a case of matching it as well as you can by eye. That's pretty good. Okay, so I'm actually going to pop another dimensional. Forgot I did this on the other card, just under there, just to lift that bit. Okay, and then I've got the Adhesive-Backed solid gems. And I'm just going to put a couple of these on. So I'm going to put a couple on there. And then a tiny one I'm just going to pop down there, just because I think that needs something else. And then I'm going to put another large one in the centre there. Okay, so that's the finished card, and that's my original. I don't know if you can see those. So I think they're both really pretty, and but you know, the busyness of the backgrounds and the darker colours can be quite a challenge sometimes for people to use. So hopefully that will give you a bit of inspiration, and you'll get using those darker colours. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed this this demo, and feel free to leave me any comments. And if you would like to sign up for my blog, my newsletter, then please visit www.inkspiredcrafts.co.uk. See, would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and help me grow my audience on there. And please feel free to share my demo with friends and family too. Okay, take care for now. Bye.